Hi, I'm Dr. Anthony Fernando, Director of Training at Noble Samurai. And today, I have a question for you. Are you making as much money in your online business as you'd like? If you answered no, then you're not alone. Every day, thousands of people just like you join the internet marketing gold rush and start searching for that online gold mine that will deliver a flood of income flowing into their bank account. But the sad reality is that most people never find their online gold mine. In fact, a study conducted by the University of Tennessee found that over 63% of information-related businesses fail in the first 4 years. Some estimates put this number as high as 97%. Here's what usually happens. You buy a course, product, or piece of software that promises to reveal the secret of success. You start following the system for a few days, but it always turns out to be much more difficult than was promised. Then, life gets busy. You get distracted and you begin to lose interest in the product you purchased. But the next time you check your email, you find out about a brand new course that seems much easier and a lot more profitable than the last one. So, you buy the new course and the cycle begins all over again. After several failed attempts, you feel jaded, lied to, and you feel like a failure because everything seems so much harder in reality than what you've been told. Eventually, you give up on the idea of creating an online business. You think, what's the point? It never works out anyway. Well, all that is about to change, because in this presentation, I'll share with you the 3 things you must do to eliminate procrastination, get focused, and finally make your online business dreams a reality. First, you'll discover why using willpower to build your online business doesn't work and what you should use instead. Then, I'll reveal the one thing you must do to eliminate the procrastination that is robbing you of the online income you deserve. And finally, no matter how difficult building your online business may seem, I'll show you how to tap into an endless supply of drive and motivation. By the end of this video, you'll know how to apply these 3 principles in your life so you can finally create an online business that gives you the financial freedom you've always wanted. So be sure to watch this video all the way to the end. Okay, let's get started. Why using willpower to build your online business doesn't work and what to use instead. Now, the idea that willpower doesn't work is probably going to come as quite a shock to you, because most of us have been brought up to believe that achieving goals is just a matter of having enough willpower. After all, that's what all the motivational gurus have been telling us for years. Set your goal and make it happen using your willpower, right? The only problem with this advice is that it usually doesn't work. And here's why. Recent university studies into human psychology and neuroscience have revealed that willpower is not the magic bullet that everyone thinks it is. In a series of groundbreaking experiments, Dr. Mark Muravin at the University of Albany discovered that willpower is in fact a very limited resource that quickly runs out. In one revealing experiment, students were presented with 2 bowls. One bowl contained warm, freshly baked cookies, and the other bowl contained cold radishes. The first group of students were told they could eat the cookies, but had to ignore the radishes, which was very easy and didn't require any willpower. But a second group of students were told they could only eat the radishes, but had to ignore the warm cookies, which required a lot of willpower. All the students were then asked to complete a difficult puzzle. The amazing thing was that the group who had already used up their willpower trying to resist the cookies gave up on the puzzle much more quickly. The researchers concluded that the students resisting the cookies had already used up their willpower and didn't have any left to work on the puzzle. According to Dr. Muravin, there's been more than 200 other studies that have examined willpower, and they've all come to the same conclusion. Willpower is a very limited resource, and it quickly runs out. That's why so many people give up on their online business, and why you're much more likely to break your diet at the end of a hard day at work when your willpower tanks are running low. What this research means is that trying to force yourself to take action using willpower is just not sustainable, and it's actually a terrible way to try and build your business. As you probably know from experience, it just doesn't work. Eventually, your willpower runs out and your progress comes to a grinding halt. So if willpower isn't the answer to achieving your most important goals, what is? How do you eliminate procrastination, develop a laser-like focus, and finally create an online business that creates a flood of ongoing passive income? Well, the good news is that there is an alternative to willpower, and when you start using it, you'll be able to transform every aspect of your business. So what is this magical alternative to willpower? It's something I call want power. Want power is a completely different way to think about achieving your most important business goals. It involves figuring out what you really want and then programming that goal deep into your subconscious mind so that you develop a burning desire to make it happen. Instead of trying to use your limited willpower to force yourself to take action, want power involves igniting your inner desire so that you're compelled to take action. Here's an example that highlights the difference between willpower and want power. This is Roger. Roger's dream is to create a profitable online business so that he can walk away from the stress and rejection he faces every day as an insurance agent. He's tried to achieve this goal several times before, but every time he tried, the same thing happened. He'd start off well, make good progress for a couple of weeks, but then inevitably something would go wrong. Either there'd be a crisis at work and he'd have to work back late, or his daughter would get sick and he'd be up all night looking after her. There was always something. He'd try and force himself to work on his online business using his willpower, but eventually his willpower would run out and he'd give up. Now let's take a look at how Roger can make the switch from using willpower to using want power. This time, Roger begins by writing down why he really wants to build a successful online business. His list includes to stop working full-time as an insurance agent, to spend more time at home with my daughter, to be able to take my family on a vacation, and to be able to send our little girl to a good school. When Roger focuses on what he really wants, an interesting thing starts to happen. He develops a feeling of intense desire deep inside, and this feeling of desire is what want power is all about. As he thinks about what he wants more and more, his feeling of desire grows, and eventually it compels him to take action and start building his business. You see, when you get crystal clear about what you're trying to achieve, and you want to make it happen with all your heart and soul, then nothing can stop you. Unlike willpower that quickly runs out, want power is a long-term fuel that keeps you motivated for as long as it takes to reach your goal. By focusing on why he really wants to create an online business, Roger gets into the habit of working on his business every day despite all the day-to-day distractions that surround him. And by tapping into his want power, he's well on the way to achieving his goal and making his dream of passive income a reality. So just to recap, you now know that willpower is not the magic bullet that everyone thinks it is, and that trying to force yourself to take action using your willpower is just not sustainable. Instead, you need to make the switch to using want power, and I'll show you exactly how to do this later in this video, so be sure to keep watching. When you figure out what you really want and program it deep into your subconscious mind, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Okay, so now that you understand the difference between willpower and want power, let's take a look at the second principle I want to share with you today, which is the one thing you must do to eliminate the procrastination that is robbing you of the online income you deserve. Whenever you procrastinate, there's a mental tug of war going on inside your brain. On one side of this tug of war is the goal that you know you should be working on, and on the other side is a short-term distraction. For example, when Roger was trying to force himself to work on his business using his willpower, here's the tug of war that took place inside his head. On one side was the idea of creating his online business, and on the other side was the idea of watching TV. In this matchup, the short-term distraction of watching TV was often more appealing than the idea of sitting down at his computer to work on his business, so Roger would regularly procrastinate. However, let's now take a look at what happened when Roger made the switch from using willpower to using want power. By focusing on why he really wanted to achieve his goal, Roger drastically changed the mental tug-of-war taking place in his mind. Here's what his new tug-of-war looked like. On one side was the idea of watching TV, but on the other side was the idea of no longer working full-time, plus the idea of spending more time at home with his family, plus the idea of taking his family on a vacation, plus the idea of being able to send his little girl to a good school. In this new mental matchup, you can see that Roger's goal now has a lot more pulling power. And it's this pulling power that enabled Roger to overcome procrastination and take action on building his online business. What this means is, the one thing you must do to eliminate procrastination from your life forever is to increase the level of want power associated with your goal. Now you're probably thinking, that sounds great, but how do I increase my levels of want power? To answer this question, let's take a look at the next principle that I want to share with you today, which is how to tap into an endless supply of drive and motivation. There are a number of ways to increase the level of want power associated with your goals. And while I don't have time to describe them all in this video, I'd like to share one of the most effective strategies with you, which is to create a vision video. A vision video combines images, words, and music to create a powerful representation of your goal and the future you want to create. Here's a quick excerpt from Roger's vision video, which helped him to increase the levels of want power associated with his goal. Now, it's really important to understand how using a vision video works in the real world. In recent times, there's been a lot of talk about the law of attraction. Unfortunately, some people have suggested that all you have to do is think happy thoughts and the universe will magically deliver everything you want to your doorstep. In my experience, it doesn't quite work like that. Think about it. If all Roger did was think positive thoughts about building his online business, it's not as though one day he'd wake up and suddenly find his bank account overflowing with money. Here's how things work in the real world. As you watch your vision video and think more and more about what you really want, you'll feel a well of desire start bubbling up inside your heart. This desire is what Want Power is all about. And as your Want Power grows stronger and stronger, you'll feel compelled to take action. So the process is, your thoughts lead to an inner burning desire called Want Power. Your Want Power compels you to take action, and it's your action that leads to results. For example, Roger watches his vision video every morning and fills his subconscious mind with thoughts about being an online business owner and the impact this would have on his life and his family. These thoughts create an intense feeling of desire called Want Power, and it's this Want Power that compels him to get focused, take action, and start working on his online business. And it's through repeated action that he produces results. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment what would happen to your life and your business if you were to put all the principles you've seen in this video so far into action. Imagine getting crystal clear on what you want and creating a vision video to visualize your goal using words, images, and music. Imagine igniting your inner desire so that instead of relying on your limited willpower, you're compelled to take action by your Want Power. Imagine eliminating procrastination forever so that you make massive progress on your goals every single day. If you take these principles and apply them, you'll finally be able to create a profitable online business and transform every aspect of your life.